History is a carefully constructed lie written by the victors. We were told Christopher Columbus discovered the New World in 1492, but a tattered, controversial piece of parchment suggests a much older, more chilling truth about our past. Long before the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria set sail, shadows moved across the North Atlantic. These were the Norsemen, seafaring warriors whose sagas spoke of a distant fertile land they called Vinland, shrouded in mystery. In 1957, a book dealer emerged with a document that threatened to shatter the foundation of American history. It was a map, allegedly from the 15th century, showing an island titled Vinland, located far to the west of Greenland. If the map was authentic, it meant that Europeans had not only visited North America 5 centuries before Columbus, but had also mapped it with terrifying precision. The implications were massive, sparking a forensic war that lasted for decades. Science stepped in to solve the riddle. Using particle accelerators and chemical analysis, researchers began to peel back the layers of time. What they found was a digital age ghost story hidden within the molecules of ancient weathered animal hide. To understand the map, we must travel back to the year 1000. Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red, followed rumors of a land seen by a lost merchant. He found a place of wild grapes and endless timber. For years, these sagas were dismissed as mere legends, tales told by firelight to entertain warriors. But the Vinland Map provided the first potential physical proof that the Norse voyages were documented long before the era of modern exploration. The map's detail was its most shocking feature. It depicted Greenland as an island, a geographical fact not confirmed by the rest of the world until the 20th century. How could a medieval scribe have known such a secret? Skeptics immediately raised the alarm. They argued the map was too perfect, too advanced for its time. They suspected a modern forgery designed to deceive the world's greatest historians and collectors for fame, or perhaps for a massive profit. The discovery hit the world like a lightning bolt. Yale University purchased the map for a staggering sum, fueling a firestorm of debate. Was it the greatest cartographic find in history, or the most sophisticated hoax ever staged? In the 1970s, chemical testing revealed something disturbing. The ink contained anatase, a form of titanium dioxide not commercially available until the 1920s. This was the smoking gun that many experts believed proved the map was a fake. But the story didn't end there. Other scientists argued that anatase can occur naturally in medieval inks, or as a byproduct of parchment preservation. The battle lines were drawn between the chemists and the historians, each refusing to back down. While the map's authenticity was debated, archaeological evidence began to emerge. In 1960, a Norse settlement was discovered at Lonso Meadows in Newfoundland. The sagas were true. The Vikings had definitely reached the shores of the New World. If they reached Newfoundland, why is it so hard to believe they drew a map? The controversy shifted from "did they go" to "did they write it down?" The Vinland Map stood as the only witness to this lost history. History is being rewritten every day. If you want to uncover the secrets of the ancients and explore the anomalies that challenge everything we know, hit the subscribe button now and join us on this forensic journey into the past. The Latin text on the map tells the story of Bishop Erik Knupson, who allegedly visited Vinland in the 12th century. This added a layer of religious authority to the document, suggesting the church knew about the Western lands. If the Vatican possessed knowledge of a land across the sea, why was it kept secret for hundreds of years? Was the Vinland Map a leaked document from a restricted archive, or a carefully crafted piece of disinformation from later? Investigators began looking for a potential forger. They searched for someone with the motive, the skill, and the access to medieval materials. Suspicion fell on several scholars, but no one could definitively link them to the map's creation. The mystery of the Vinland Map isn't just about ink and parchment. It's about our identity as a global civilization. It's about who gets the credit for connecting the world and how we define the age of discovery itself. In 2021, a new study from Yale University used the latest imaging technology to examine the map once again. They weren't just looking at the ink anymore. They were looking at the very atomic structure of the entire document. The researchers found that the titanium-based ink was present across the entire map, not just in specific sections. Even more damning, the ink matched a forgery technique known to be used in the early 20th century to simulate aging. Yale officially declared the map a forgery. They concluded that someone had taken a genuine piece of 15th century parchment and drawn the map using modern chemicals to make the ink appear ancient. The case seemed closed forever, but does a fake map mean the story it tells is also a lie? Even if the Vinland Map was created in a basement in the 1920s, the reality of the Viking presence in North America remains an undisputed historical fact. Archaeology doesn't lie as easily as ink. At Lonso Meadows, researchers found iron nails, a bronze pin, and evidence of ship repair. These were items the indigenous people of the area did not possess at that time in history. We are forced to reconcile two different histories. One is the official narrative of 1492, and the other is a ghost story of Norse explorers who arrived, stayed for a brief moment, and then vanished back into the mist. Why didn't the Vikings stay? Why didn't they colonize the continent like the Spanish and British did later? The answers lie in the harsh environment, the distance from home, and the resistance from the people who already lived there. The sagas record violent encounters with the Skraelings. Unlike the later European explorers who brought guns and steel, the Vikings were outnumbered and lacked the resources to maintain a permanent foothold in such a vast, distant land. Evidence of their presence continues to surface in unexpected places. A Norse coin was found in Maine, and strange stone structures in New England hint at a presence that predates the colonial era. Every find adds a new mystery. Some believe the Vinland Map was based on an even older lost original. They argue that the forger wasn't creating a lie, but was instead trying to reconstruct a truth they knew existed but couldn't physically prove to the world. Our map of the world is not just a geographical tool, it is a political one. By controlling the map, you control the narrative of who discovered what and who owns the legacy of the land. The stakes are incredibly high. Today, the map remains at Yale, no longer a centerpiece of history, but a masterclass in forensic science and the psychology of forgery. It is a monument to our desire to believe in the extraordinary and the hidden. If the map is a lie, the truth it points to is still more incredible than any fiction. 500 years before the world was discovered, a group of iron-willed explorers had already crossed the impossible and touched the unknown. We often think of the past as a straight line, but it is more like a sea, vast, deep, and full of forgotten currents. The Vinland Map is just one ripple on the surface of a much larger, darker story. What other maps are hidden in private collections or buried beneath the silt of the ocean floor? What other truths about our ancestors are we too afraid to look for because they challenge the comfort of our current history? Every time we think we have the timeline figured out, a new anomaly emerges. Whether it's a map, a coin, or a settlement, the past is constantly reaching out to remind us that we don't know as much as we think. Imagine the moment he saw it. The endless green forests of a world that didn't exist on any map. He wasn't looking for a new world. He was looking for a home, for resources, and for a future for his people. They called it Vinland because of the grapes, a symbol of abundance and life. To the Vikings, it was a land of promise. But that promise was short-lived, swallowed by the cold Atlantic and the silence of the centuries. Forensic science continues to evolve. Perhaps one day a new technology will emerge that can prove the map's origin beyond any doubt. Or perhaps it will reveal a secret even more shocking than a 20th century forgery. If the map was a forgery, it was a work of genius. It required a deep knowledge of medieval Latin, cartography, and chemistry. Who was the ghost who created this masterpiece, and what was their true, hidden, ultimate goal? History is often written in blood and marked by the loss of knowledge. The Vinland Map represents the intersection of what we know, what we want to believe, and the terrifying void that exists between those two different worlds. Columbus may have the holidays and the statues, but the Norsemen have the whispers of the wind and the hidden ruins of the north. They were the first, the pioneers of a world that wasn't ready for them yet. Even if we burned the map today, the truth would remain. The Vikings were here. They saw the mountains, they drank the water, and they walked the soil of North America 5 centuries before the rest of Europe even dreamed. Vinland Map might be a fake, but the journey it represents is the most real story ever told. It is the story of human curiosity, the drive to explore, and the eternal mystery of what lies beyond the horizon. We are the descendants of those explorers. We are the ones who continue to map the unknown, whether it's in the deep oceans or the stars above. Map may be gone, but the spirit of Vinland lives on.